Alright, it's back in Islands of Adventure, the second best park in Orlando now, but still amazing. Very excited. On Tuesday I spent most of a day in studios, so today I'm going to spend most of the day here, but I can go over to studios and probably will to try to get a Rip Ride Rockit night ride later. I'm not going in single rider because it's only a 20-minute wait, and I'm going to see if I can request the back row.
But we know you want more. More speed. More heights. More teeth.
And here at Jurassic World, we've got teeth. Welcome to the VelociCoaster. Loose items not permitted on VelociCoaster. Keys, wallets, phones, loose. Let's prepare for your ultimate raptor close encounter.
They just said it broke down and getting my stuff out of my locker on ride 2. Yes, I just got 2 back-to-back back row rides there. I'm going around this way around the Discovery Center because I've never really walked up this path before, but anyways, I waited in the standby line. It was a posted 25-minute wait, and I only waited 15. Huge improvement over SeaWorld yesterday. And yeah, back row was crazy. It is a little rough back there, I'm not going to lie. That ride's gotten a pretty nasty rattle, I would say. Both my rides had a pretty nasty rattle. So hopefully that's more just in the back of the train. But I think it's a fair trade-off because you get some crazy ejector pop moments that I haven't gotten any other rows on that ride. So yeah, I'm really coming around on that. I thought it was pretty good the first time I rode it, but I was never as sold on it as most people. But yeah, really good. So I did that, and then I was like, oh, I'll just grab a second ride in the single rider line because the single rider line's pretty short. So I went back in the single rider line, and then I got assigned to the back row in the single rider line. So I got back row twice. Although I will say, when I requested back row in the standby line, the guy looked a little exasperated. I mean, I always ask nicely. I just said, can I please go in the back row? And if they ever tell me no if I do a row request, which I don't request rows that often on rides actually, but when I do a row request, if they say no, I happily go where they tell me to go. It's really not a problem. Just asking, you know? And yeah, guy looked freaking exasperated. He was just like, and then pointed. He didn't even like say yes. He just pointed at the back row, which I kind of get it. So that ride, there is a separate front row queue, but there's no separate back row queue. And there were already several groups waiting for the back row, which kind of clogged up the station. So I kind of get his frustration. But again, you could just say, no, we're not doing row requests right now. And that would be fine. I don't care. Like, like, I get it. So that was just a little weird. You know, I talked about the sightlines and Epic being weird at times, but that was mostly just like buildings and stuff. This is just kind of funny. So you have Hogwarts Castle here. We're in Jurassic Park. And then there's Hogwarts. It's kind of funny. I'm gonna grab an early lunch though. How empty it is right now. I literally just walked up to the counter and ordered my burger. I was here last year. Granted, it was a popular spring break week. However, everything was super crowded. I had to wait quite a while and it was hard to find seating out here. It is a night and day difference. Yeah, I had been wanting to eat here again. Jurassic Park Discovery Center, not because the food was really that good. It's pretty generic, but I do have to give credit where credit is due. VelociCoaster, even though it's a weekday and the park's not that crowded, VelociCoaster only has like a 20-minute wait. They are still running all 4 trains and dispatching super fast, like pretty much as close to the minimum interval as I think you can get. So take that, SeaWorld. All right, that was nice. I'm actually gonna go over to the Harry Potter area now. Hogs me, that is Ride Forbidden Journey, because it only has a 5-minute wait right now. It's a combination of the fact that that Kuka Arm ride system has an insane high capacity. I think it's around 3,000 riders per hour, which is over double the hourly capacity of VelociCoaster and Hagrid's. I think it's almost triple the capacity of Hagrid's. So that definitely helps. And I'm sure that's a good part of the reason why Frankenstein and Epic Universe always seems to have a super short wait as well. But also some of it is the oldest Harry Potter ride at this point. It kind of has a reputation now of being like the kind of outdated one, which I don't agree with at all. I think it's still an incredible ride system and an incredible ride. But it is, 15 years old now, so it's not quite as exciting as it once was. Everybody wants to ride Hagrid's now. Hagrid's always has a 2-hour line, and Forbidden Journey is always like 10 or 15 minutes, it seems. So yeah, no, I'll take it because I love that ride. It is nice at any park, especially a larger park, to have a decent ride that you can hop on pretty quickly. It's just crazy that it always seems to be Forbidden Journey here. It's one of the best rides of this whole resort, and it always has like the shortest wait. And I'm further shortening my wait by getting in the single rider line, which this ride's single rider line, some of the single rider lines here are questionable. This one seems to always be super reliable in getting you on the ride in like 5 minutes. Here we go. My eyes are still adjusting to the darkness because it's pretty bright outside. And this is hilarious. This is the single rider line. Just walk right on. I don't like that there's so many movie posters around. Like, we are in the Jurassic Park area, but there's Jurassic World movie ads. There were lots of ads for How to Train Your Dragon in Lost Continent and all sorts of stuff like that. And it just kind of feels a little tacky. Feels a little Six Flagsy. Anyways, it's about time to ride a ride I've really wanted to ride for a long time. Jurassic Park River Adventure. Another opening day attraction from Islands. Yeah, this is an opening day Islands of Adventure attraction. It's a very classic, based around the original Jurassic Park films, kind of. Actually, I think the story is technically that this is after that, and they built another Jurassic Park and actually opened it, and that's where we are. It's a Shoot the Chutes water ride that has some apparently really cool animatronics. I've been wanting to ride this for a while. I meant to ride it last year, but I didn't get around to it, so.
At Jurassic Park.
It's a bit of an odd quirk I've noticed with the operations here. So this ride has a double load station where they load 2 boats at a time, but it only has a single unload station. That's a little strange. So they have to unload twice as fast as they load in order to keep up. It's a little strange. As you can see though, the boats do tend to pile up a bit, so you have to wait quite a while before you get to exit. It's a pretty decent attraction. It's actually a little shorter than I expected. I've watched a lot of POVs of it, but for some reason when I'm actually on it, it feels shorter. I don't know. You don't get too dang wet either. I was sitting in the second to back row. You just kind of got drizzled on a bit. It definitely looks more impressive than it actually is, the splash. But I'm sure if you're in the front rows, it's probably more wet. Yeah, I will say I've heard a lot of people say that this ride needs some serious TLC. And yeah, the main appeal for the first like 2/3 of the ride before you go down the drop is you're just kind of moving through parts of Jurassic Park. And there are a bunch of very impressive large dinosaur animatronics. But there's one or two that were not working. Most of them were working, which is good. I hear a lot of times more don't work than work. Most of them seem to be working today. However, the ones that were working were in really rough shape, mostly cosmetically. They need some new skin. They all look like cheap mall animatronics right now. So that's not great. And also the movements are really stiff and stuff, which I know they didn't used to be like that because I've seen older videos. So clearly they're in pretty rough shape, which does diminish the ride experience a little bit. But overall, it's still fun. I hope they keep it around and refurbish it. I know people want it to be refurbished in the Jurassic World like they did in Hollywood. I hope they don't do that. I think it's much stronger with the original Jurassic Park theme, but credit where credit is due. That is probably the best drop I've ever experienced when I shoot the chutes. Hopefully the single rider queue isn't too bad. Then I'm gonna loop around through Toon Lagoon and do those water rides when it gets to the hottest part of the day. Those two rides in Toon Lagoon have reputations for being like the most wettest rides at any theme park or amusement park anywhere in the world. So that'll be interesting. Man, is that a really good coaster? It's not as smooth. I wish it was a little smoother. I see some reviews of people, enthusiasts that rode opening year and talked about how glass smooth it was. And unfortunately, it is not glass smooth. I've ridden it, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times so far this visit. And every single one of them in every train has been pretty vibrating. It's not painful, but it's definitely not smooth. Regardless, still overall one of the most intense coasters out there. I guess most aggressive is the right word. I'd say Hulk's a lot more intense in terms of G-force, which I hope we'll get to soon, but VelociCoaster is one of the most aggressive rides out there. To the point that I think it kind of can be uncomfortable for some people, especially in the second half of the ride, like the entry and exit to the stall and then the Mosasaurus roll. While awesome elements and very thrilling, those newer intimate trains have almost no lateral support whatsoever, so you kind of get thrown around in a way that's kind of uncomfortable and maybe painful if you don't brace yourself for it properly, which is the big part of the reason I actually prefer the mock rides over the shoulder restraints. The intimate ones are definitely more free and open, but I actually think that's a negative. It does allow for somewhat more thrill because it's so open feeling, but that's really the only positive. I find the mock rides over the shoulder lap bars to be, again, much more comfortable because they have just a bit more lateral bracing and stuff, so they just lead to a more comfortable ride, I think, which I definitely prefer. Anyways, we're at the side of Islands of Adventure I always forget exists. I always spend most of the time over on the other side, you know, in the back of the park, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, and then Silent and Lost Continent. That's where I spend most of my time in this park. I don't come through here very often. I've never actually ridden anything in Toon Lagoon. This is definitely like the water area of the park, which I think is nice. They're all goofy cartoons and they're all water rides, and there's lots of splash pads around the area and different stuff like that. So it works well with the cartoon vibe in my opinion. Yeah, I've always thought this is a surprisingly intimidating looking log flume here. I love how much water has going through there. That's funny. A lot of people have lost stuff, and you can see it just recirculating in the water down there. There's a couple water bottles there. So There's a souvenir shop on this side. It's the hottest part of the day now, about 90 degrees, so seems like a good time to do the water rides. Well, this is an odd view. VelociCoaster's top hat behind a bunch of cartoony stuff. It's funny, it looks a lot shorter from here than it does from the other side. Some of that's that we're at the top of the hill right now. All right, the entrance to this log flume is kind of hidden back here. It is nice. Islands of Adventure has lots of water rides. You have this log flume, you have River Rapids ride right across the path from here, and you also have Jurassic Park Shoot the Chutes water ride, which is great. Universal Studios Florida, over right next door, does not have any water rides at all. All right, 90 minutes. This is probably the longest line I will wait in all day. And I haven't been really wanted to do this, so. I guess this is the exit here. Oh, there's the station, or at least the unload station. Man, if this is a 90-minute wait with all these switchbacks empty, I can only imagine what a full line at this attraction would be.
Experience of Dudley Do Ride's Ripsaw Falls. We will keep you informed of further developments. Thank you for your patience.
We believe the nefarious, no good, smiling whiplash is to blame. Should conditions worsen, normal operation of Dudley Do Ride's Ripsaw Falls may be temporarily suspended for your safety.
Yeah, that was the wettest log flume I've ever ridden. Dudley Do Ride's Ripsaw Falls, my new favorite log flume. It is by far the most drenching log flume I've ever ridden. And you know, perhaps wearing a white shirt the day I'm going to do Islands' notoriously drenching water rides was a bad move, but this one is. That's one of those rides that's definitely well suited to Florida, where it's always super hot. But yeah, that's fantastic. It's funny, the other two log flumes I've always loved, rest in peace Splash Mountain and also Daredevil Falls, it's mostly the scenery and theming that makes those. I didn't love the theming on this one. Like, it's fine, but like the layout, you get like 3 different drops that all have airtime hills on them. They're, especially that last one, the steepest drop I've ever felt in a log flume. It's crazy. Like I said, airtime hills on like almost every drop, and the most drenching log flume ever. It's just so much fun from beginning to end. I had to wait 1 hour and 40 minutes for it, which is a really long time, but I'm glad I did it. I'm not gonna say it was worth waiting that long, but I've always kind of been fascinated with that ride since I first came here when I was very young. I didn't want to do it then because I was like scared, but I'm very glad to have finally done it. You know, I'm not gonna say the wait time was worth it, but like I said, best log flume I've ever done, so I would have been sad if I didn't do it. So I guess while I'm already drenched, I'll go ahead and see if I can get on Popeye and Bluto's Bilge-Rat Barges. Who comes up with these names? Yeah, this is a much shorter wait. Log flume is like 90 minutes posted. This is 25 minutes posted, so hopefully it's fine. The storm is approaching, but it's not quite here yet. Let's see if I can get through in time. Cool views. I definitely like this queue line better. It's just a different style of cartoon, but it's more detailed. I like it better. Anyhow, yeah, when we were getting on Ripsaw Falls, they just all of a sudden The line moved really slow for most of it, and then they just suddenly started picking up the pace right when I got to the end of the line. When we were at the station, they were like, come on, hurry up, we've got to get everybody on the ride before the storm gets here. I was like, storm? And I came out and the sky is very dark. But apparently no lightning nearby yet, because everything's still open, but they are rushing people through the outdoor attractions before it storms. So yeah, so as much as Dudley Do Rides was the most drenching log flume I've ever done, this has a reputation as the most drenching theme park ride that exists, period. So this will be interesting. Alright, weather delay has officially taken hold. Alright, it is beginning to rain now, but I don't care because I'm already wet. See, it all works out. I keep forgetting they have a set of S&S towers here. Obviously they don't run in the rain, but hopefully this is a short storm, but I haven't had good luck with the length of storms the last couple days. Hopefully, if nothing else, this rain scares a lot of people off. I do see a lot of people leaving. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that works out for me. There are a couple little rides in Seuss Landing that can operate in the rain, and I am trying to get, I don't think I'm going to be able to get completion at Studios, but I'm trying to get as close to park completion on these two parks today as I possibly can. So definitely doing some rides I typically wouldn't, just for fun. Right, so One Fish, Two Fish cannot run in the storm because it is completely outdoors, but the carousel can because it's covered, apparently. So I'll go do that, I guess. I've never seen anything like this. The safety belt is literally a belt. Anyways, I assume I can have my phone out because it's just a carousel, but we'll see.
Carousel ride is slowing down. Please remain seated until it finishes going around. Welcome back, my beast riding friends. You may undo your belts and step down again. Follow the arrows to the exits and you're on your way. Thank you for riding and have a Seuss-tastic day.
Alright, this might be crazy news, but it was a carousel. Yeah, unlike Constellation Carousel, which is a very unique carousel ride system that's unlike anything you'd have at any other park, this is a carousel. The actual ride system is just like what a carousel you'd have at like a regional theme park. However, this one is very well Dr. Seuss themed. It's got a lot of interesting visual stuff to look at if you like Dr. Seuss art style. It's got fun rhymes for the ride announcements and also some goofy music that plays during it. So, you know, it's a Dr. Seuss themed carousel. It's nothing groundbreaking. You probably don't need to go out of your way to experience it here, but you know, it's great for kids at least. And if you're bored when it's raining, like I am right now. So yeah, there are two dark rides in this park I haven't done yet, which is Skull Island Reign of Kong, which I forget exists. It's been closed all day, so I don't know if it's going to reopen today. I don't know if I'll get to ride it. But the other one is Cat in the Hat. So let's go ride Cat in the Hat. It was basically a walk-on earlier, but now it's up to like a, what's the wait? 35-minute wait, I guess, because attraction availability is pretty limited right now because of the storms, but here we go. Got nothing else to do. Hey, the sun's back out. Will you look at that? Only had to wait about 20 minutes rather than 35. It's definitely a ride I enjoyed a lot more when I was here as a kid. Let me just say that. Cat in the Hat. It's a good dark ride for kids, and it isn't. I mean, Seuss Landing is basically the kids area, so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's a pretty simplistic dark ride that's just pretty much a one-for-one retelling of The Cat in the Hat, one of the most popular Dr. Seuss books. All of the sets in there are very artistically faithful to the book, but overall, just the scale of it is it's very similar to like a regional theme park dark ride in terms of scale, which isn't bad. Not everything here has to be a like complete blockbuster, but That's it. It's basically a regional theme park dark ride that's here in the kids area.
I think get out of there just in time for the outdoor attractions to start reopening. So only a 10-minute wait for the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train ride, which was, I think, my favorite ride in Seuss Landing when I was here when I was young. So let's do it.
This is like a monorail style little powered ride thing that takes you around Seuss Landing. A lot of regional theme parks used to have stuff like this in their kids areas, but they've been getting rid of them, unfortunately. But this one's much bigger than anything that used to be in any of the Camp Snoopies or anything, so.
This is quite the exit ramp. It just keeps going. Okay. It just keeps going. Emergency exit. Oh, they're gonna make us exit through a bakery? That's a new one.
I guess I could have recorded a POV on that one since it's just a slow-moving monorail, but I didn't really think about it until I was like most of the way through.
Yeah, I was on the purple one. There's two different tracks, purple and turquoise. Purple and blue, purple and green, whatever. You do not get to pick which one you want. I mean, I'm sure if you asked, maybe, but typically you don't pick, they just assign them, which is kind of unfortunate because they have very different ride tracks. I remember from last time I was here, the green track, which was not the one I got, actually goes through this restaurant, which was kind of interesting.
Anyhow, again, you don't get to pick. Although, interestingly, it is a Mobius loop, so you pull into the unload station of whatever side is the opposite of what you left from, which is interesting.
Well, just to finish up Seuss Landing, I guess I'll do this. A little bit of a water ride, I guess. There's water involved. See those fish on the poles up there? They'll like spray water at different points. It gives you like a little rhyme that you can follow to not get wet if you want.
All right, I'm actually going to go ahead and eat now because I don't want to end the night super hungry like I have the last couple of nights. I gotta walk all the way around now. I was going to go to Mythos since it's one like best theme park restaurant so many times. I wanted to see what the hype was about, but I didn't realize it's not like a mobile order place. It's I can actually sit down and be served at, which I don't think I really want to spend the time on tonight. So instead I'm going to go to Thunder Falls Terrace, which is the other restaurant in Jurassic Park. There's actually a couple in Jurassic Park. There's the quick service burger place I ate at. There's a quick service pizza place. And then there's also a Thunder Falls Terrace, which is their mobile order style place where it's like a hybrid between quick service and sit down. Like you go sit down at the table, then you mobile order your food with the app, and then they bring it to you, which I actually really like that style. It's a little annoying to have to use the app, but once you get used to it, and have everything set and ready to go in your account and everything, it's super easy. I love it. But yeah, that'll put me closer to Bilge-Rat Barges, which I do still want to do. Didn't get to do it earlier because of the weather coming in.
Yeah, I kind of keep forgetting that Reign of Kong exists here. It is still closed. It's been closed all day, so I don't think I'll be riding that today. And here we are, with plenty of Jurassic World Rebirth ads to go around. Every time I've walked past, I thought this restaurant looks beautiful. And I see, can we go sit by the water? That would be awesome. I've already placed my order. I just have to put in my table number now. So right by the drop on Jurassic Park River Adventure here. And I snagged this table right here. Nice. It's very cool what you can do. But yeah, you can place your order before you even get to a given restaurant. And once you find the table, you really just scan that QR code with the app and it's boom. And they're like, we'll bring it out.
We'll see. At Epic Universe, it took about 20 minutes to bring the food out. When I did this in the Three Broomsticks the other night, it was instantaneous within 30 seconds, but I was like the only one in there, so.
Oh my lord, that is fancy. I'm gonna get some napkins or something. It's weird. I had to go grab silverware at Epic. They brought them out to me, but this is the ribs platter. It was $21, I think, which is like theme park pricing. I didn't expect this much for theme park pricing. That was good.
If I were to criticize, I didn't love the seasoning on the corn, and I feel like the ribs needed a little bit more sauce. Like the sauce was good, there just wasn't quite enough flavor there. But hey, I'm not a food critic, I just eat food, and that was pretty good. I'm finally really starting to dry off from earlier, so naturally the thing to do is now to get on Apparently the world's wettest theme park attraction. Yeah, you know, I would say I'm pretty wet now. Yeah, it is pretty wet.
Oh, hey, it's Misha, the olive. I didn't know you could climb up here. That's pretty cool. Like this where you can go spray people? It might be.
Oh no!
Just going up. Alright. Guess this is the top of the olive. The views across the lagoon though. Wow.
Anyways, I did 2 rides on Popeyes because it was walk-on, and I was already soaked, so why not? It is starting to cool off in the evening now, though, so I need to not do more water rides.
Why did I never know you could walk out to the lagoon from there? It's so dang cool. Why did I not know about that? Oh, you can go all the way down. Heck yeah. Oh yeah, there's a whole big viewing area down here. With some awesome VelociCoaster views among all the other rides here. That's awesome. I'm gonna guess that some of this probably used to be a boat dock for the actual Islands of Adventure boats that used to exist. You can see the one by the entrance there. Apparently when this park first opened, you could take boats across the lagoon, and it wasn't long after the park opened they stopped doing that. Which is kind of sad, but I get they probably don't have the capacity now to do something like that with how many people visit this park. I think this is like the closest you can get to VelociCoaster other than on the path over there. Pretty wild.
Yeah, no, especially after today, I can definitely see why some people, even after visiting Epic, still prefer Islands of Adventure over Epic. I totally understand why. For me, I think it's still Epic. I still prefer Epic, and I can totally see an argument for Islands still being the best park at Universal. So anyhow, the ride was good. Did it live up to its reputation as the world's wettest water ride? Well, this is gonna sound really stupid since I'm drenched from head to toe, but I honestly expected a little bit more. I did notice there were some water features that were not working or appeared to not be working. So I don't know if those have been turned off to try to make it more accessible or if they're just broken. But regardless, the rapids actually don't do much. That was what surprised me. Most of what gets you wet is there's a lot of water features that just dump water into the boat. So like, yes, they get you drenched. Yeah, you got stuff like that. Where is it? That, you got stuff like that. And like on the lift hill, there's just water jets that blast in the raft. On some other water rides, I've seen waterfalls that then part right before you go into them, except these waterfalls don't part. So yeah, it's pretty wet, but I wouldn't say it's really that much wetter than the Dudley Do rides. These are 2 very drenching water rides though, that's for sure. Maybe some of it with the rapids parts that all the boats I was on were half empty because it was a walk-on. But I've seen some full boats seem to get pretty soaked on the splashes.
Yeah, for me, I think the Popeyes area is the strongest subsection of Toon Lagoon for me. A lot of this it's just a little too much, a little too campy. But I think Popeye's area is really well done. Hope they do something with this Toon Lagoon feeder here at some point soon. It's a bit of an eyesore here. Dr. Doom is fearful. Again, I keep forgetting that this park has a drop tower. I usually love SNS drop towers like this, the shot towers like this. Okay, good. I thought this was 85 minutes. I was about to be like, okay, I guess I can't do that. But it says 5 minutes. That's good. It is kind of tough back here in this alley. It's a bit of an odd location.
Dialogue or make any believe what there is so territory without the express consent of Dr. Doom. Well,
I will say it's air conditioned in here, and since I'm soaking wet, it's pretty cold. I'm shivering, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, there we go. I swear, nothing gets my blood pumping like a good drop tower, and even those SNS shot towers like that, where it shoots you up and then back down. Just the anticipation, just the sitting there, not knowing when it's going to launch. What the hell? Exit door arcade. What? Okay, now I really feel like I'm in a Six Flags park. Just like arcade. All right, that's fine. Whatever. You know, Epic Universe doesn't have an arcade. I think that's what it's missing.
A little later than I meant to be, but I'm gonna do Hulk and then I guess maybe, well, first I'm gonna do Stormforce because I was afraid it's there. And then Hulk, hopefully the single rider line will do me well and I'll head over to New Studios. Stormforce closes at 9, so I should probably do it now.
This is Professor Xavier of the X-Men.
And I am Storm.
So it's just T-Cuts. I don't know what I thought. I knew it was like a small fly ride, but it's a T-Cups ride. But it gets going pretty fast. That's the fastest I've ever felt a teacup ride spin. I was not even really spinning it. So yeah, otherwise everything about this is, you know, very regional theme park. Even the way the theming is done with the announcements and stuff, it sounds like something out of like Carowinds Aeronautical Landing or something. So not really a universal attraction, but it's a thing.
All right, gotta do Hulk real quick since I'm here. Two rides on Hulk courtesy of the single rider line. That coaster never disappoints. Very intense. Second ride I actually got in the front row. Yes, in the single rider line I got assigned to the front row. So I'm having good luck getting assigned to good rows in the single rider today. It's definitely a very fun experience in the front row. It's not anywhere near as intense as it is near the back of the train, but the unparalleled view, everything over the lagoon, diving through the tunnel with all the mist in your face, awesome in the front row. I still maintain what I said last year, which is that Hulk is smoother than VelociCoaster. Look, I'm just being honest here. Every single ride that I've gotten on Hulk is smoother than every single ride I've gotten on VelociCoaster. I've ridden VelociCoaster like 10 times now, last year and this year. It's got a pretty bad rattle in every train. It's really not that big a deal, but Hulk runs smooth as butter. Even when I rode it in like second to back row last year, it was smooth as butter.
It's such a crying shame that this beautiful facade will probably never be used for anything ever again. There's Mythos, apparently the world's best theme park restaurant.
I did look out of curiosity, even if I decided I wanted to spend the time on that. Earliest reservations I had were at like 8, so that would not really jive with my plans for tonight. I would say maybe I'll check out Mythos next time I'm here, but my prediction is next time I'm here, this area won't be here anymore, so And maybe the last time I see Mythos.
There's literally no attractions in this area anymore. It's just shops and a restaurant and a facade for something that used to be there, and then an abandoned theater. And it's probably the best themed area at Islands. That's the funny part. But it is time to grab the Hogwarts Express over to King's Cross Station in the Studios Park.
This is the only ride in the park you have to scan your park ticket to access, because it's basically a shuttle between the two parks, even though it is a ride too. Which also makes it the only ride in this park and the only ride in Studios that you literally cannot experience without a park hopper pass or without a two-park pass. In fact, of all the theme park resorts out there, this is the only ride I can think of, like genuine ride, that you cannot ride without a park hopping pass.
Anyways, we are in Hogsmeade Station. Oh, I forgot that's the express queue. We plebeians have to go down and then back up. It's funny, during busier days, this can get like a 45 to 60 minute line just for the shuttle between the parks, basically. Oh, this is not Harry Potter. This is the abandoned theater in Lost Continent. What's interesting is you can see most of the set for the show is still there, even though it's been abandoned for a couple of years now. I tried to put up this fence and you couldn't really see it, but you can still see it in a bit. It's so weird that they haven't even like started taking anything down yet. It's magic. Whoa. Crazy. And just like that, I am back in USF. Again.
Alright, since I said I'd do it yesterday, and I never did, I'll do the freaking Simpsons ride. It's probably not going to last that much longer anyway, because the contract's almost up, and I doubt Disney's going to renew it, since Disney owns the Simpsons license now, but we'll see.
Yeah, here's whatever they're building behind this construction wall here. Probably just a new gift shop or restaurant or something. I'm not sure. Somebody that's more Universal obsessed to me is going to have to let me know. Obviously, I don't follow this stuff quite closely enough. Alright, can't wait to go board the main attraction of Krusty Land here. Why am I doing this? Alright, here you can see we have a map of Krusty Land. Looks like a very generic, older theme park. They got an attached water park though, and an attached hotel. That's rare to see for a park this small, so I'll give them credit for that. I distinctly remember when I first rode this like 10 or 11 years ago, having to wait in most of this. So this is nice that it's all empty. I guess we're just walking straight on here. Pretty crazy.
Now enjoy the Ferris wheel.
Hi guys.
Whatever this is. What do you want?
Dice que los pelados tiraron la pelota de básquetbol para que se fueran la tirada. Le dijeron, tira la grande.
Don't run. Take your seats in an orderly fashion, and please watch your head as you enter the vehicle.
Minion.
Oh no. Why am I doing this? It's stupid ride.
Well, I did the Simpsons as a walk-on.
I will give it credit, the size of the screen in there is impressive. You see this giant building here? The screen goes across the entire building with several vehicles in one theater. Pretty crazy. And look at the sky. That is a pretty sunset for sure.
Regardless, I shall proceed this way towards my Rip Ride Rockit night ride as the sun continues to set. Okay, Simpsons ride, I mean, for a motion simulator, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's cool how big the screen is, and you get some pretty dang good motion out of it for sure. And if you're a Simpsons fan, I think they did the source material pretty well. Also, it's a decently long ride. So all that, like, I could go on. I get why people like it. But for me personally, I don't like The Simpsons, and I'm pissed off that it's literally a reskinned Back to the Future ride.
This is what should be in that building. The vehicle we climbed in shouldn't be a clown car, it should be one of these.
Sun's continuing to set, but it's not quite dark yet, so while I'm waiting for it to get dark enough for that Rip Ride Rockit night ride, everything seems to kind of be a walk-on at this point, so I'm going to see if I can grab the 2 or 3 little simulator rides near the front here that I have not experienced yet. Particularly Minion's Villain Con, or whatever it's called. This replaced the Shrek 40 theater that used to be here. I don't know, maybe I'm just old. I don't know why you'd replace a Shrek ride with a Minions ride. This ride doesn't seem to be very popular, and it gets like the worst reviews ever. People are like, oh, they finally built something as bad as Supercharged again. So, I don't know, I'm curious.
This queue space has ever been filled before. Probably not.
Your blaster, or extend your mechanical arms away from your body. Moving off the spot will cause. Stay on your side.
I did hear the best part of this ride, the queue. Here's the best part.
You don't play by the rules. Off to the side. By this attraction, experience villains must supervise the opponent.
Ah, so it's a moving walkway deal. Interesting. No, I'm not supposed to be filming, but this ride is horrendous. Well, that was a thing I just did.
Yeah, that was horrendous. It's horrendous, but I'm not gonna say I would never do it again. I feel like it has more merit than Supercharged, but less at the same time. Talking about really bad Universal Studios attractions here. So Supercharged is really bad, but like it's funny because it's so horribly written. The effects on the screen are so funny that it's just a funny, everything about it is just a funny ride. Whereas Minions does not have that going on. It's all just bad. But at the same time, it's stupid fun just because it's like a shooting dark ride type deal. And you know, I'm always gonna have fun on a shooting ride like that. You're just pointing a thing at the screen and trying to shoot things, but that's fun. That's why the Wii was so successful, right? Like, it's a stupid fun ride as a time waster, but like, it's not a good attraction. All those screens were running at like 30 frames per second, which is weird for a ride like that. And more alarmingly, like your blaster reticle, first of all, it was not synced up like at all. Horribly synced. And then your actual, the reticle would move at like, it updated at a significant lower frame rate than the rest of the screen. So it was really odd. So just a lot of things that were just really bad. Also, the story made no sense. I don't know what the hell was going on. I might do it again at some point in my life if it doesn't get ripped out in the next year or two, just as a time waster. Because it's a people eater attraction. I will give them credit. It is a unique idea to use the moving walkways like that. It gives you a lot more of an open, like, freedom feeling to just be able to turn and look around wherever you want and shoot, rather than being constrained to your ride vehicle. But it's a double-edged sword because, you know, when you need to move from screen to screen, you have to physically turn your body. The ride vehicle doesn't do it for you. So, again, double-edged sword there. I don't know. It is what it is.
Here's another ride that's just stupid in concept, so I have to try it. How does this exist? Why does this exist?
I'm just gonna say right now, the only time I've ever watched Jimmy Fallon in my life was when they did the Switch presentation there in like 2016 or like early 2017. Reggie took the Switch in there for like an early preview.
It's kind of cool cube, maybe. What? The Tonight Rider? I don't understand this. Does this exist?
It's risky business if you're prone to dizziness or any type of motion sickness. By this racing adventure, it's unsafe if you enter. Profaning is the simplest way to avoid being injured. If you're lucky enough to be alive to take this ride, your arms, legs, heads, and hands must remain inside. Not to mention your feet.
I'm not even sure what this ride system's gonna be. We'll see.
I'll talk about it more in a second. I think it's a rocket, but that is hands down the stupidest ride, the worst ride here. Hands down, that is way worse than Supercharged. What the hell was even that?
This looks pretty though. Hopefully I'm able to make it before it closes. I got like 2 minutes. catch the second half of Sensational now, real quick.
Second half of that, but it was really good. Sensational, a celebration of the music in film, which is really cool. I like that. I will say Universal does really love their fountain shows for sure. I don't even know why they bothered doing fireworks there, because they were kind of, I don't know, they were all small and not very many of them. I know from what I hear, Universal can't really do fireworks shows because they're so close to downtown Orlando. Disney's much farther out, so they can kind of do whatever they want, but Universal is close enough into downtown with big limits on how many fireworks they can set off and how big they can be, and it's why you didn't see that much there. But yeah, the fountain show is really cool.
R.I.P. Ride Rockit. Oh, it's still running. I got last ride of the night, but it's still going. Yeah, they're just running it. I don't know, for tests or what.
Yeah. R.I.P. Ride Rockit. I'm sure you haven't already heard 12 people make that joke. Yeah, I mean, that was my first night ride on Rip Ride Rockit. It is the only night ride I will ever get on Rip Ride Rockit. It'll be closing in September, and I definitely won't be back here before September, so that was my last ride on Rip Ride Rockit ever. It's almost kind of sad, to be perfectly honest. It's not a great coaster, and they will almost certainly replace it with a much better thrill coaster for this park.
There it goes into the brakes.
Regardless of all of that, I mean, it's just such an iconic coaster in the world. So like, it just feels kind of wrong that we're losing it.
Last time exiting studios for quite a while. I don't know when I will be back here.
All right, let's see if they'll let me into Islands for 20 minutes, and I think I'm gonna do a night ride on Hagrid's. I think that's what I decided. Can't overstate how nice it is to be walking through this park when it's actually like the outdoor rides are actually running. For one night this week, the other 2 nights I was here, it was storming. But luckily the first night, VelociCoaster and Hagrid's opened up like 10 minutes before the park's closed. That was pretty clutch, but
So I might get some butterbeer and then hop in line for Hagrid's.
all right, gonna enjoy this for a second before I get in line for Hagrid's. I got about 15 minutes, so should be okay. So when I was getting on the Hogwarts Express here in Hogsmeade earlier tonight, there's a group in front of me where some lady was like actually complaining that she didn't get to pass through the wall into platform 9 3/4. It was taking all of their straight in me to not be like, ma'am, this is Hogsmeade, not King's Cross. You're at the wrong end. Can't wait to add up how much I've spent on butterbeer by the end of this trip. It's horrendously overpriced because it's basically just cream soda with like butterscotch whipped cream on the top. But yeah, I didn't give a full mini review before. Race to New York, starring Jimmy Fallon, just might be the dumbest ride. I said worst before, I still say worst, but also dumbest ride at Universal Orlando Resort. At least the little flat rides like fill some niche. I don't know what the hell that even was. The motion base is like the whole theater. So as you can imagine, it barely moves. So I guess it's more family friendly then, but then it's just like, you know, it's just dumb. I didn't get to finish what I was saying in that queue. The only times I have ever watched The Tonight Show is when they were showing The Switch before it came out. And when Linus Tech Tips was on it. I didn't even watch the whole show that time. I literally just watched the segment with Linus. That was it. So like, I do know from listening to Linus talk about that on some of his streams after that, they do not film that show at night. They film it during the day and then they run it at night. So in the ride, you're like on the film set and they're like, we're gonna go race through New York because that's a safe thing to do. So you go flying out the side of the theater into the streets of New York and it's nighttime, which is not canon because that would not have been filmed at night. It would have been filmed during the day. Otherwise, it's a whole bunch of just stupid shit happening. And like, to give credit where credit's due, there are several points where Jimmy Fallon says things during the ride that are like kind of self-aware. Like he knows how stupid this is, which I thought was kind of funny. But personally, I just don't find Jimmy Fallon to be that entertaining personally. I got nothing against the guy. He seems like a nice guy, seems like a good guy. I haven't heard any dirt on him. But as an entertainer, I just personally don't find him very entertaining, personally. Clearly a lot of people do since his show's pretty popular, obviously. But for me, he's just not the type of personality I like to watch. So yeah, the whole time I'm just kind of like, why is there a ride based around this guy? And it's clear to me everybody else basically asked the same question because that never seems to have more than like a 20-minute wait, even though the loading process is horrendous. I thought I was gonna miss a Rip Ride Rockit night ride because the loading process, it took 8 minutes. It took 8 minutes to load. Rip Ride Rockit night ride was cool with the colored lights and everything. Really elevates that experience. Yeah, I'm sad. In just a second, I'll go get my night ride on Hagrid's and then I will walk out of Islands. For the last time on this trip. It's gone fast. I feel like I was just at Fun Spot like yesterday, and that was like 4 days ago. I swear I'm still very, very young, and yet the older I get, the faster time passes. And I don't know if I like that very much, to be honest.
What does it say? a 95-minute wait.
I'm assuming that is a drastically overinflated wait time. Otherwise, we're gonna be here pretty long after park close.
The sign has such a long queue. And I've waited through a full queue here before. It was over 2 hours. It was not great. There's people. This might actually be 90 minutes long.
Oh, now don't you worry about this. I'll see you all later.
Just investigating this muggle tool. Fascinates you. What's on echo trickery?
Right you are. Oh, hello. I'm glad you found the place all right. I've got a very special Care of Magical Creatures class for you today. Yes, and that's where I shall be showing some blast-ended screws. Before they all kill each other.
Tap back.
Jiminy! Whoa, that's just marvelous, Arthur.
Not bad. I think we're ready.
Right.
Attention, for everyone's
Alright, that's a wrap. Yeah, so I waited about 45 minutes there. Not quite as ideal as the 5 minutes the other night, but...
Look at that moon. It looks like a spotlight on camera. That's actually the moon. Bro, there's a Minion guy walking along the track.
He's one behind a tree.
Nintendo store. I'm gonna go in the Nintendo store. I should go back to the hotel and sleep, but not right this second. I just gotta see the Nintendo World t-shirt, generic, whatever. Looks like we have a Mears coach this time, a not universal bus. Interesting. I don't know what the hell this is. This is the way back to the room. I don't know, do I push to open? I'm scared. Okay, yeah, I did, and it opened, and I came through, and it closed. Yeah, somebody else just came through from this side, so I came through. Yeah, I don't know what this is. It's very weird. It's not the fire alarm, so I don't know. Yeah, I looked at it. It is some kind of fire door, but the fire alarm for the building's not going off. There is some kind of alarm from the door itself, but the fire alarm right next to it is not going off, so that is on the list of the weirdest things I've ever seen at a hotel. In fact, I think that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen at a hotel. I can still hear the, ambient sound it's making in here. That's annoying. But yeah, just to this shirt. Yeah, I'm very tired. It's crazy that this trip has I feel like it just started and I'm about to leave. So tomorrow I have one last full day at Epic Universe. Second day, should be hype, and then I'm heading out of here. So Universal, please hurry up and start building some new attractions at your existing parks, or do something super interesting so that I have to come back next year or something. Give me some reason to justify coming back, because I love it here. But anyways, I'm tired, so shower time and bedtime. Hope to get to ride with y'all again very soon.